Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Creative Caffeine podcast. Today, I'm joined by wedding photographer, creator in the YouTube space, Danny Bligh. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you? Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, pleasure and a privilege, mate. How's your week been?
Okay, it's been a little hectic, not gonna lie, but it's good. We're getting there. We're halfway through the week, even though like yesterday was like a Monday for me. I actually took the bank holiday off for once.
What's a bank holiday?
Well,
What's one of those?
Yeah, well, I worked all weekend. I worked all Saturday and all Sunday, so I thought I'll have some time off, spend it with my family, and yeah. So yesterday was like a Monday, but because of that, I'm now a day behind. So,
yeah, I know the feeling. Being like self-employed, it's so hard to take a day off because if you don't work, you don't get paid, and like it's hard to like take a little break, take a day off, because then you fall behind.
100%. Every day is a money earner, and I have a problem where I sit there even in the evenings, and I'm trying to stop myself from doing it. Been saying it for like the last year or so, but I'll sit there and I think, well, if I'm not editing, if I'm not making a YouTube video, if I'm not scripting, if I'm not having a meeting with a couple, booking a wedding, doing something, then I'm not making money.
Yeah.
And that's like a massive, for me, I felt like I was always not good enough unless I was doing all of that.
Yeah, I know the feeling. It's such a struggle. It's actually such a struggle. We definitely chat about all of that. I know, like, yeah, it's a mission to not work.
yeah. Like, I sometimes say, I think to myself, like, I'll never do it, but like having a just a 9-to-5 job forever. Sometimes it has its perks, I guess, because you finish work at 5, you come home and you don't have to think about it.
Exactly, yeah. Until your boss texts you, can you cover this person for tomorrow?
Yeah.
I don't miss that.
Days.
But anyway, bro, we always ask this question. What would you rather have? A battery that never dies or an SD card that never fills up?
SD card that never fills up.
Nice.
Easy.
Yeah.
Memory cards cost way too much, and I've lost way too many of them.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but like I'm using like the A7S3 at the minute, so
nice.
The memory cards are like 160, nearly £200 a piece.
Yeah. Is that the Sony Type B or Type A cards?
No, I'm still using V90s. I haven't gone to the CF Express, but they're like 128 V90s. So some days on Amazon you get them for like 60 quid. Other days they're nearly 200. And I literally have like, I think I've got about 8 of them knocking about. So yeah, and I've lost 3.
Oh,
it's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
So if I could have just a memory card that never fills up, keep it in the camera, take it out, offload everything, put it back in. You're never going to lose it that way.
Perfection. I know SanDisk do the 1 terabyte version now. They do like the 1 terabyte SD card, which is still blows my mind that you can manage to fit.
How much is that?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I can imagine it ain't cheap. I don't know if it's a V90 or anything.
I don't know. I've heard about it, but I can imagine it to be expensive. But how old are you?
I'm 26. I had to think about that just for a brief second. I was like, how old am I? Like, yeah, 26. What about you, bro?
I'm 30. I turned 30 a few weeks ago.
Nice. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. It isn't that good when you get to 30. I think, wow, I'm heading towards 40 now. However, SanDisk, a 1 terabyte card. I'm looking right now. So a micro SD one. It's only 100. It's a V30. It's 135 quid.
V30 though.
V30. Yeah. Well, it won't work on. I'd be able to record 4K 25p, and that's about it. So,
yeah.
Game over.
I can't imagine the price of when they release the 1 terabyte version that's a V90. Like,
yeah, it's going to be so much money.
It'll be
the reason I was asking how old you were was, can you remember back in the day when you used to buy a memory card for your mobile phone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can remember my mum buying me one. It was like 32 megabytes.
Back when that, like 2 megabytes or 2 gigabytes or something was enough.
Yeah.
To store like a few pictures.
2 gigabyte. That was like a massive thing. I can remember like my mum buying me a 64 or something like that, and I think it cost my mum like £64.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous. You think 64 meg now? Can you imagine putting 64 meg in your
I'd get 2
in your
pictures on
camera?
my Sony A7 IV, and that's it.
Yeah.
If that.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
But yeah.
So, bro, can you share your journey as like a wedding photographer and how you got into living this creative life, man?
Yeah, absolutely. So 5 years ago, that's where it all began. It all went downhill from 5 years ago. No, I'm kidding.
Same.
Yeah. One of my friends, like my business partner in the wedding business, me and him was in a band. We played guitar together, and being in a band costs so much money.
Oh,
We
yeah.
used to pay a lot of money for music videos,
Rehearsals, recording, mixing, mastering.
Well, this is the thing. So we all the whole band went to university to do mixing and mastering and recording.
Yeah.
So like me and Tim, and the singer from the band and everything, we all have degrees in music tech.
Nice.
So it's great. However, the video and photo part was so expensive. So Tim was like, well, I don't know if this is exactly how it came about, but pretty much he was like, oh, well, if I learn, I can do it for us. So he did. He worked at Morrison's Cafe.
Nice.
And I worked at McDonald's at the time. And he ended up leaving his job, going to a car franchise to do their marketing full time.
Nice.
And I can remember him telling me, and I was like, how do you make money? I couldn't understand in my head like how he could get a full-time job as a photographer, as a videographer.
Yeah.
And it was very naive of me, I guess. But when you're not in that world, you don't realize.
No.
So I was at McDonald's, and I did well for myself there. I was an assistant manager and everything. It was great. I got paid a good amount of money for it.
Common misconception: McDonald's does actually pay well.
100, mate.
They're one of the best paying companies.
McDonald's, yeah, if you want to work your way up in McDonald's, like the thing is, the training they give you, you will be snatched up for so many companies. Like
I bet.
You will be poached because their management training is so like next level. However, I didn't want to be there. I worked a lot of weird hours. Yeah, it was tough. So I said to him, well, get me a job. Now, at this point, I never even held a camera, let alone taken a photo, done it professionally or anything. He was like, he just laughed at me and was like, yeah, sure. Learn how to use a camera, I'll get you a job. You know, as a joke. So for my 25th birthday, I went out and bought a camera. I bought a Sony A7.
Nice.
I can remember going to Jessop's in Nottingham.
Oh, Jessop's.
Yeah, man. Walked in and I was like, I want to buy a camera. It started off at a Sony A6000.
Nice.
I think it was like £500 at the time. And the reason I went Sony is because that's what Tim was shooting on. He was shooting on a Sony A7S2.
Nice.
And it was like, if you go Sony, I can help you in some way, shape or form, whatever.
And it will help you in the long run.
Yeah, supposedly. So I was like, I'll have an A6000. And then I looked at the price, looked at the specs. Remembering I didn't really know much about this, but I soak up information very quickly. I was like, no, that's not good enough. So I went to A6300. Not good enough. So I went to the A6500. At this point, we're getting up to like, back in the day, it was like £900 for that and a kit lens. I was like, yeah, it's only a crop sensor. Maybe I should go full frame.
Straight in the deep end with full frame.
Yeah, just do it.
Why not? Go big or go home.
I remember, yeah, me and my girlfriend, we were in there and we were looking, and it was £1,000, and I was like, oh, I can't really afford it, like at all. It would just turn I would just turn 25, so I had £150 worth of birthday money to be able to spend.
Nice.
So I used that as a deposit and had the rest on finance, 0%.
Good plan.
Went home. My mum went mental. She's like, so what you bought for your birthday? What you bought with your money? I'm like, I bought a camera. And she's like, so what else you bought? I'm like, no, that's it. She's like, well, how much change you got? I'm like,
I hate when parents used to ask, how much change have you got when you've gone out for a day?
Like none. I've got £850 left to pay. And she was like, what the? You know, it went crazy. She's like, what are you doing? Having finance on the house and this and that. You live in, whatever. Like, what are you going to do with a bloody camera? I was like, well, I'm going to be a full-time YouTuber. That's literally what I said. I'm like, I'm going to be a full-time photographer. I'm going to do YouTube. I'm going to do everything. And I worked really hard. And around 10 months later, I got the job with Tim.
Nice.
And he didn't get me the job. There was a job going. We started doing weddings together. And he got me a full-time job. Well, he told me about the job. I applied, went through all the proper process, but got a full-time job. Didn't know how to do videography at this point, but the job was also about videography, so I kind of winged it, learned
Nice.
Premiere Pro in a weekend, applied, made a bit of a show reel from some stuff, which I don't really know, it was awful, and kind of learnt on the job and winged it all the way through that whole job.
Mate.
So yeah, it was the same with the weddings. Like, the reason I came across this job is because I was at a wedding one day, because Tim was like, "Oh, can I borrow your Sony?" Remembering we only had one camera each. I was like, "What for?" He was like, "I've got a wedding." I was like, "Okay." He says, "Can I borrow your camera?" So I've got a second one. I was like, "No." He was like, "Why not?" I'm like, "If you want to borrow it, I'm coming with you."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What do you mean like you're coming with me?" I'm like, "I'm never doing a wedding. Like, I want to learn." He's like, "But
Best
I've
way to
never
do
done
it.
a wedding." And he was doing it through one of his school friends, and I went along and we kind of winged it. And the photos turned out really good. And we did video as well. We did a full video and photo for our first wedding. And the video was like decent.
Yeah.
The photos are decent. And nowhere near as good as what we do now. But they were good enough to be able to put on a website, use as a portfolio, build on that. And that was about 4 years ago. And now here I am.
Onwards and upwards since.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, and now I work way too much.
Yeah, them feels.
But I'm on a mission, so it's all good.
That's good. Goals and aspirations. It's good to have.
Yeah.
What do you believe sets apart like a great wedding photographer from sort of like an average one, or one that's just starting out and learning the ropes?
I would say someone that takes into account every consideration of the day, not just from a photography or videography element. I'd say someone who values every other aspect of it, whether it's down to the other vendor's needs, whether it's down to the actual couple's needs. At the end of the day, it's their wedding. You're not there to. They're not having a wedding for you to take photos. You're there to take photos of their special day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can take great photos. Not anyone can take great photos, but you can go on YouTube, you can learn, you can practice, you can go out and make themed shoots. I see a lot of people going to like Italy and France and Spain and Canada and stuff and doing these style shoots, themed shoots and stuff. And
elopement kind of style things, isn't they?
yeah, and they kind of like just take their friends along, get them in a wedding dress and a suit and everything. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. It makes great footage, great photos. You can have an incredible portfolio by the time you get back.
Looks good for the gram, but
yeah,
it's not the real world.
exactly. So you can learn to take photos, you can learn the skill, you can learn the technique, you can do all of that. However, putting all of that into practice and being mindful of everything else that's going on around you. You need to be able to think on your feet, walk into any situation, any room, and be able to own it and put ease, and put everyone's mind at ease, because it's their wedding day. They have no idea what's going on. They're trusting you to do your job. So I think that's the difference between a good photographer and a great wedding photographer. And
Definitely.
I wouldn't say I'm nowhere near the great level yet. There's a long way to go. But yeah, I think you have to pay attention to your surroundings.
Definitely.
Take into account everyone else's needs, not just your own.
Yeah, and the pressure as well, because there's so much that can go wrong on a wedding day. Unlike those styled shoots, there's no do-over. You can't just like reframe, get the first kiss again from like 7 different
100%.
angles. Like, you just have to think, not just one step ahead, 7 different steps ahead of all the scenarios that could go wrong.
Yeah, just talking to what once happened to me. In fact, it was earlier this year. I went to a wedding, and you're constantly learning as a wedding photographer, as a wedding videographer, as anyone in a creative space. You're constantly learning. You're never the best there is. You're always learning. You learn from your mistakes. I walked into a wedding. the wedding was at a venue which I'd done many times before. And I've spoken to the registrar, and the registrar, who I've met loads of times before, we were chatting before the wedding, got around to the first kiss, and the registrar walks right in front of the camera.
That's happened to me before.
And
It's never fun.
And the thing is, I knew she was walking, but I had nowhere to go. I was just like, and in the photo, she's literally just in the middle, staring right at the camera, like deer in headlights. And I was like, oh my God. And luckily they did a second kiss.
That's
straight
good.
after. So no one would be any of the wiser. However, now I go to the registrar and I say, no matter what registrar it is, no matter what venue, I always say, I want to be stood here for the first kiss. Can you make sure you go to your left or to your right or whatever? And as they're going to, I now pronounce you husband and wife, you may kiss or whatever. I almost step in the way of the registrar, so she can't go in front of me.
Good shout.
He can't go in front of me. They have to go around the back or to the other side. And it's just simple things like that. You learn from your mistakes, and that's the difference between a good photographer and a great photographer. Like, learn from your mistakes. You're never the best.
Yeah. Failure to prepare to fail.
Yeah, exactly. Go in and own the situation no matter what. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I always I get to a wedding at least half an hour early, even if it's like a venue that I've shot at multiple times. And I don't do too many weddings. I've got my wedding packages and stuff, but I only really accept them from like client referrals, friends and family and stuff, just because I do a lot of other stuff. So I don't really push for weddings, but the weddings that I have done, I always like get there half an hour early, introduce myself to the registrar, figure out where I can stand, if I've got to like hover in one spot for the entire thing. I did a Catholic wedding once, and they were literally, it was like 3 hours long. I had just had to stand in the same spot. There was no moving, no going to the side. It was literally just the same shot for 3 hours. Yeah,
and in them situations, I break the rules. Like
it's got to be done.
It's annoying, but I have to do it. I'm there to do a job, and I'm happy to take an earful off someone after the wedding. I don't get in the way. I try and be respectful and stay out of the way. I'm not one of them photographers who, I see them videos on Instagram where it's like the wedding photographer. They have the flash on top, and they go every 2 seconds. They walk into the middle of the aisle, right in front of the bride and groom, like
blinds everyone.
They step out of the way constantly. And it's just I try not to do that. I try to stay out of the way. If I could shoot a full wedding at 200mm all day long,
all day every day,
I'd be happy with that. 100%.
That's the struggle with weddings, because the guests don't want to see you. The guests don't want to know that you're there, but ultimately you've got to get the shots without being as intrusive as possible. It's like the forever struggle. Like, get the shots, but also not be noticed.
Yeah, there's something I say is that the best wedding photographer, you will not realise they're there. Like, you'll be thanked at the day for everything you've done, but no one will realise what you have done because they've not noticed you. And that's possibly why they thank you, I guess, to some extent.
Fly on the wall type of approach.
Yeah, and that's me. Like, I'm a bit of an extrovert. Like, anyone would look at me and be like, oh, he's so extra. Like, he talks to anyone, he can talk forever. But when it comes to weddings in a situation where I don't know anybody, and there's like, I do weddings which are probably like anything from 40 grand, 50 grand. I think I've got a wedding next year, and I think it's costing the bride and groom around £200,000, if not more. Like, these are big weddings I'm doing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people. There's like, I think on that wedding there's 230 people coming to the ceremony or something.
That's a lot for the day, isn't it?
That's a lot, yeah.
I think the most I've shot for a day is like 70 people there.
Yeah, see, 70, if we only get 70, like, that's not many for us. Like, we do big weddings sometimes. So you don't know anyone. Like, it's the first time you've ever met the bride and groom. Like, we have Zoom calls, but we've never physically met them most of the time. We don't know who the parents are, sisters, bridesmaids, brothers, groomsmen, whatever, we especially don't know who all the guests are.
Yeah.
So for me to go and talk to them or to get up there and make them look natural photos, it's so hard, because as soon as anyone sees a photo, they're all also like a deer in headlights, or they turn their backs to you and they don't want to be on the photo. Which I know is that people aren't comfortable with that, and maybe some people will say, well, just don't take the photo, but you also want to capture the atmosphere, so you kind of have to be out the way, be mindful, be the fly on the wall.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Not let anyone realize that you are actually there.
Yeah, I always go in with the approach of not I do too many weddings, but the weddings I've done, I always sort of think in the back of my mind to capture the moments that the bride and groom aren't going to see. So the bride's not going to see the groom's, arriving at the venue. The groom's never going to see the bridal prep. So I always make sure to capture just those little details of the, moments that they're not going to see. So during the ceremony, capture the emotions and expressions of, father of the bride, all those little details that, because the bride and groom are eyes locked onto each other, they're not going to notice the surroundings.
It's the moments between the moments, I call them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's strange, because we look at a wedding and we see it from a photographer's perspective.
Yeah.
However, there's so many of my couples who come back to me and say, I didn't even know this had happened.
Yeah.
Like, when did all this happen? I'm like, well, yeah, you planned your wedding day, like, so yeah, I agree with you. It's really nice to get the in-between moment.
A little candid shots.
Yeah, they love it.
What are some of the mistakes you think and pitfalls that people getting into wedding photography should avoid?
Are we talking from what perspective? The technique? Because we could be here all day.
I'd say technique. Yeah, let's go with technique.
Okay, let's go technique. Oh God,
Not
using
shooting
a flash. Yeah, not shooting raw. I once was a guest at a wedding, and obviously I don't want to be that guy who is really annoying and follows the photographer around. But
The Uncle Bob.
yeah, I don't want to be that guy. But I did go up to the photographer. I was like, what are you shooting on? And he was shooting on I don't know, something from quite a while ago, like a Canon APS-C sensor, something.
Big DSLR, chunky thing.
I do, like a 7D. I don't know. I don't even know what they do in Canon. I don't use it, so I don't know. It's an old camera. And we got chatting, and I'm like, oh, cool. He was like, yeah, I just shoot in JPEG. It's easy. I just take the files off the camera and send them over. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Have fun with that.
And that was it. And you know what? If that works for you, that's fine. If that's the style you go for, that's fine. I don't know. The way I always see it is there's a lot of wedding photographers out there who do it as a bit of a side hustle just to make some extra money at the weekends.
Yeah.
Which is fine. However, I think that... God, this is going to be really controversial now.
Oh, I love it. Go for it.
I think that everyone should aim to improve over time. There's many people in especially like the surrounding area who are wedding photographers and have been wedding photographers in the past for quite a while, much longer than I have. And their style hasn't changed. Their look hasn't improved to some extent. They're still shooting harsh flash, even outside, all day, every day. And I just think, okay, well, if that's the style you want, that's fine. However, what they do is then do a whole wedding day, 15-hour day or something ridiculous like that for 200 quid.
Yeah.
And I just sit and think, well, that's great if you want to do it as a side hustle. However, the results aren't that great. I see many couples not sharing their wedding photos. They sooner share photos from their guests and stuff.
Yeah. That's when you know you failed as a photographer.
And I'm like, but then obviously that then almost devalues the rest of the wedding industry.
It does, yeah.
And it makes it so hard. So yeah, I guess that's an overall thing. And I see so many photographers shooting with flash all day, and I just think,
I don't even own a flash. I try and use.
I hate flashes.
They're just annoying.
Can't stand them.
It's just annoying. Like if you're trying to watch, because I've been at weddings as a guest before, and you sort of being as a when you've been to so many weddings shooting them, and then
Yeah.
you go to one as a guest, you actually notice the things that you should be doing and you shouldn't be doing. And I was at a wedding a few weeks ago, and literally every 25 seconds or so, there was a flash in the corner of my eye from the wedding photographer at the back, and I was just like, it's just not needed. It's not needed. The room was bright enough. Like,
well, this is it. If the room needs it, if there isn't much natural light, sure, I've got no issue with using a flash. And there's been situations where I've had to use a flash in those situations. But when I do that, I also make sure that I get the photo rather than shooting 20 photos to get the one photo.
Pick your shots.
Because it's like some wedding videographers going down a different route. Wedding videographers, some couples say to me in meetings, oh, do you, like, we've been having calls with other couples, other companies, do you bring the big lights like what I've got up here at the moment? And I'm like, no. They're like, oh, how come? Like, why don't you use them? And it's like, well, it kind of takes away from the atmosphere. Like, it's a moment. They've styled it in a particular way. Having a flash, having massive, panel lights or softboxes or, whatever, it just takes away from the moment.
Yeah, it turns the wedding day from a wedding day to an on-set production.
Exactly. And again, I go back to the thing I said earlier. They're having a wedding and you're there to take the photos.
Yeah.
They're not having a wedding for you to take the photos. So yeah, you want to be out of sight, out of mind. That's the way I see it.
Definitely.
But yeah, flashes, mate.
I hate them.
They tip me off the edge.
I've never owned one. I don't even think I've ever Googled, like, Amazon searched for the prices of one. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah.
Like,
I've got two, and I do use them. Like, when it comes to dance floor stuff, I use them there. I use, like, very harsh flash there. And I normally drag the shutter and do some cool.
Nice, some light painting kind of style thing.
Yeah, I do that kind of stuff on the dance floor. And if during the speeches and stuff I need a flash, then I'll use it. But if I can get away with it, like, that's the whole reason I went to primes. I wanted more light to hit that sensor, so I went down to primes. Like, if not, I'd be shooting on a 24-70 with one camera all day long, happily. I don't mind.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, I went down the prime route. So
yeah, I need to get some more primes now that I've got the holy trinity of the Sony lenses, like 16 to 35 all the way to 70 to 200. But yeah, I think I want like a 24 1.2 or 124 1.4 and then like an 85.
They're nice.
Yeah, 24 is my favorite focal length. It's what I'm shooting now, and I love it.
24 was good. I don't own a 24, but my business partner owns a 24 1.4, and it's weird. I've got the 35 1.4 as well.
Yeah,
and it's a bit of a strange one. Like, I bought the 35. I've had a 35 for a few years now.
Yeah,
and that for me is my favorite focal length. However, a 35 1.4. Sometimes I find it not quite wide enough.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Things. So I always end up needing to take a 16 to 35 to a wedding, always, just for certain photos.
Yeah, definitely.
However, I borrowed Tim's 24mm last year to do a YouTube video, and I use it quite often as well. Sometimes I just find it a little bit too wide. It's a strange one.
It just depends on the mood and the day, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love it. I love the 35 though. 35 is nice, and I use the 85. I can shoot a whole wedding just on them two lenses, pretty much.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list to get.
85 1.8, I'd say. I tried the 85 1.4 only. I want to say it was either last weekend or the weekend before. I bought the 1.4 35. I wanted the 1.4 85 just to even things up.
Yeah.
Whatever. Because I just love wasting money.
It's an investment. It's a tax write-off. We're coming to the end of tax.
100%.
It's a tax write-off.
And I tried the 85 1.4. I've heard really bad things about it, and you know what? I wouldn't buy it. It's the
What's that? The G Master one?
Yeah, it's the worst lens I've ever tried.
I know they've got the Zeiss ones, like the 16 to 35 that I've got is the F4 Sony Zeiss, and they're really good. I've been loving the F4 one. It's been fine for what I use it for wide stuff. But
the Zeiss is nice. I tried a friend's 16 to 35 F4 a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
and I have the 16 to 35 2.8. That's what I'm using now.
nice.
Nice. And I tried the 16 to 35 2.8. and it's really good.
Mm.
However, the something about the Zeiss lenses, they just have a look like in the contrast. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah,
the contrast is just different. Like
I know what you
I don't
mean.
understand how. I don't know whether it's in my head or not, but I feel like the blacks are blacker.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
how they do
weird.
it with something with the glass or
I
anything,
don't
but
know. I'm no expert with this stuff. I just know how to take photos. But yeah, I have the 55 1.8, the Zeiss one as well. And
yeah.
that I don't use it that often. But when I do use it, in fact, I used it a few weeks ago for a YouTube video, and the guy I was filming with was like, "Guys, just looks so different to the 35." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "The blacks look blacker." I'm like,
Yeah.
"It's not just me then." Like, don't know
So
what
it's
it
a
is.
known
So yeah,
thing.
the Zeiss stuff is nice,
I
and
know
it's a lot cheaper than the G Master stuff.
you
The
can
G
find
Master
them on
stuff
Facebook
is
Marketplace for just like a few hundred now, which is
yeah,
great.
yeah. G Master stuff is so expensive. You don't need to have G Master stuff, and there's nothing wrong with going like Sigma or Tamron or
Yeah, Sigma's great. I've
whatever.
got the Sigma 24-70. That's what I'm on right now. But the only G Master I own is the 70 to 200 Mark One, which is heavy.
Is that the 2.8?
Yeah, 2.8. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I've
it's
got.
honestly it's like doing a bicep curl every time I lift it up. It's a absolute weapon.
Yeah, I don't use it ever. I use it for the weddings, but I use
Yeah,
it when I'm doing wedding videography. I use it for like we use it at the back of the room just to
nice.
do like the tripod shot for the ceremony and the speeches. Other
Yeah,
than that, it's never used. Um, yeah, I've contemplated selling it so many times because I don't use it. I
it's
have
quickly
the
become my
100
most
to 400.
100 400. I was considering that. I
And I
was
love
considering
that.
that, and
Yeah,
I've
it's just
watched a few videos about
awful.
it.
It's awful in low light. It's so
Yeah,
sharp. It's great to use. This is not about wedding photography at all right now. But,
that's
but
all
yeah, the
good.
100 to 400 is great. Anytime I'm going away on a trip, I take the 16 to 35, the 24 to 70, and the 100 to 400, not
Nice.
70 to 200. So
Mm.
I'm happy with that. So
No, I did watch a
yeah,
few like
um,
reviews of that lens and like why it's so good, but because I shoot like a lot of live music and stuff, it's going to be low
yeah,
light, constantly changing like light. So I was like, I do
yeah,
need like f2.8, and if I do need a little bit more reach, I'll just push it into APS-C like crop mode, and people won't even know the
yeah.
difference.
I think a 24-1.4 would be great for you in that situation. Like,
Yeah.
be amazing. I love primes, but I think I don't use them that often. Like
Mm.
primes have a place and zooms have a place in my eyes.
It's definitely easier to use a zoom because you don't have to move about as much, do you?
Yeah, well, I've been working on a documentary recently for a client, and been shooting on the 24-70 2.8 the whole time.
Nice.
Because it's just easier. Like
Yeah.
I'd love to shoot on a 35-85, but then you've got to change NDs over.
Mm.
You got to change the lens over, and things happen so fast in like that kind of shooting.
Yeah.
Same as a wedding. I don't have time for that. So 24-70 is like
You got three
the
great different focal lengths there.
yeah. I was gonna sell my 24-70, and yeah,
That's a bold move.
mate, the guy was about to come and pick it up like the day after he was coming to collect it. Like, I'd sold it in theory. It was like pending collection
Yeah.
on Facebook Marketplace. And I went out with a friend, and he shoots on a 24 to 70 2.8, and he just went out, got loads of photos, did some filming. I was like, maybe I've made a mistake.
Yeah.
I went home, dusted it off because it was dusty as hell. Like, I never used it. Got it out and went out, shot some stuff with it, fell back in love with it, and told the guy I'm not selling it.
It's
And
just
now I
such a
use it
versatile lens. It's
yeah,
great.
now I use it almost every day. So
Yeah.
it's funny. I think lenses are almost like sauces and herbs and spices and seasoning.
Mm.
Like, you can take the same photo with any lens that you want within reason. However, depending on what you use and the different brand and how many, I don't know how many blades on the iris it has, so
Yeah.
different types of bokeh and whatever. It's just like changing all your the vibe.
Changes the whole recipe, doesn't it?
Yeah, the whole recipe. That's it. You can take your mashed potatoes, or you can take a tater and turn it into chips. You could turn it into jacket taters, mashed potato,
Both and was
roast taters.
Oh, you're making me hungry now.
Yeah.
It's not even lunchtime and I'm already starving.
Yeah.
So let's chat YouTube. Like your YouTube videos are fantastic for anyone who's looking at like looking to purchase like camera gear or just wants to know about like particular lenses. Like your channel's definitely a go-to when it comes to that sort of thing. How have you found like keeping up like a regular YouTube schedule alongside like regular wedding and work and shoots?
So here's a little bit. Firstly, let me just correct you to some extent. Okay, not in a bad way. So how you just said, how do you keep a regular thing with weddings? What people don't actually realize in my life is I have a full-time YouTube channel, pretty much. I make 1 to 2 videos every single week, full-length videos.
Nice.
I also have a full-time wedding business, which I do about 30 to 35 weddings a year. I also have, technically, a full-time job, which no one ever realizes. So I'm actually contracted to a company 9 till 5.
Okay.
Doing photography and video.
Nice.
I took the job purely because I was desperate for the cash, for a little bit of security when my little boy was being born. Because I didn't know what was going to happen with the weddings, and COVID had happened.
Scary time.
Yeah. So I actually have like 3 full-time jobs.
Mate.
So and on top of that, like you just said, I've got a little boy too. He's like 18 months old. So he's at the age of, you have to have eyes in the back of your head.
Oh yeah.
All the time. So yeah, how do I keep up a consistent YouTube upload thing? You see these bags under my eyes. Like, if anyone who's listening, this is how I do it.
Night owls.
Yeah, I work many hours. I get up at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m.
It's definitely a creator's thing to just... I always feel like I'm more productive like late at night. Like I'll come up with like a way to solve a problem in like an edit that I'm working on for a client or myself, or I'll just come up with like a shit ton of like Instagram reel ideas that I want to make. Like but it's always late at night. During the day, like today, I've got to edit some Instagram reels for somebody, just moving some text, and I'm just like, I just can't be bothered. But
I've woke up sometimes 2 a.m. in the morning, like woke up wide-eyed, and I was like, I've got an idea, and I've got up and actually come and done it. Whilst everyone was asleep, got back in bed at like 5 a.m. Gone to sleep. Woke up at 6 when my little boy wants a bottle and he wants to get up and play, and then gone to work or done whatever. But I work from home. This is the thing. So I work from home. So anything works quiet to some extent.
Yeah.
I can make YouTube videos. It works quite flexible for me. They know what I do. They know everything. So I work a lot. I probably do like easily 16-hour days.
Yeah.
5 days a week. But the end game is to do YouTube full time. I do lots of brand work and stuff. At the minute, I'm just picking up brand work. Got a meeting later today for a big brand like marketing thing with a company close by.
Nice.
And people look like friends who do YouTube as well, like close by. They always say, "How do you do it?" But the end game is I want to have that much money saved up. That's what I'm in the process of doing. To do YouTube full time or to do weddings full time or anything, you have to have a runway, as people call it. So you have to have so many months worth of savings.
Oh yeah,
However,
definitely.
Because I have a house, a mortgage, a girlfriend, a little boy, a family. I want to have a year or so's worth of savings. So I want like 40, 50 grand saved up.
That's a good plan. Just God forbid anything goes wrong. You've got a safety net.
COVID came, it screwed everyone over. And I was fortunate to be in a position where I worked at the car dealership, or the car, in the marketing part of the car dealership or whatever. And I was made furloughed for 5 months.
Yeah.
However, if you work for yourself, you got furloughed, or you can claim furlough, or however it works. But it's hard. I don't want to. I have so many responsibilities, so that's why I work so much. I don't have to work that much. I could probably make I could easily make do with just weddings and YouTube full time now. But
when you got places that you want to be,
yeah, man, I've got so many dreams and stuff, and unfortunately, I need some cash to be able to do that. So at the minute, I just work so hard. How do I keep up a consistent YouTube schedule? Work a lot. I normally tie in like whatever I'm shooting for YouTube. I tie in with like a project I'm working on. Like I'm working on a video at the minute about the 24-70, about the story I've just mentioned.
Nice.
So this weekend I shot part of the documentary I mentioned earlier and did some brand work for Ford.
Nice.
Ford car dealership thing close by. So I used the 24-70 the whole time. So then that falls in line with whatever I'm making on YouTube.
Yeah.
I made a video about the A7R5, or I've made a lot of videos about A7R5, which I bought last year. So
Congrats.
I can go out and use it for weddings. I can use it for portraits. I can use it for brand work. I can do all the tests with it. I can try it, and then that all falls in line with whatever I need to make YouTube videos. So that I can come home, I can have an idea, I can script it out, I can go out, shoot it with whatever project I'm working on, come home, 2 birds, 1 stone, upload, done, finished.
Perfect.
And now I've got into the mindset of set it and forget it. Like I post a YouTube video, I used to sit and get really worked up about how well it performed.
Yeah, I'd watch the real-time views, or used to watch the real-time views all the time. And if I didn't... Go for it, bro.
Sorry, go on. To anyone who ever listens to this and thinks, I really want to start a YouTube channel, or I've started a YouTube channel and I'm becoming so demotivated, my one piece of advice is stick to one niche. If you want to do photography, stick to photography.
Definitely.
Ideally, what you should do is stick to one type of photography. That's the best way to do it. However, if you just want to make YouTube videos and you enjoy doing it, you're not going to make millions of pounds overnight. It takes a long time to make money. Just enjoy it and do it about something you want. And don't get demotivated. Post your video, leave it for a week, make another video in the meantime, and then go back and look at the analytics and be like, okay, well, my watch time wasn't very good. My average view duration wasn't very good. Okay, my retention was a little bit low. In this particular area, what did I do wrong? Take that bit out. Never do that again in a YouTube video.
Learn from each one. Yeah,
learn from each one, but don't sit and procrastinate and think, oh, maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't do this. Because I used to do that, and it almost made me. It made me ill. It made me not want to do YouTube. And
so much of YouTube now is still definitely trial and error.
Yeah, whatever works for me may not work for you, and that's why I don't really ever advise people on YouTube. I just say, if someone wants to ask for advice, I'd say just make a video, see how it goes,
press publish,
and, make clicky titles, make clicky thumbnails or whatever.
The game's game.
Give value. Deliver something. If someone wants to watch something, like someone said to me the other day, like they have a fishing channel. Perfect example.
Great niche.
And I don't know what he called them, jigs or something like the fly on the end of a hook.
Oh,
I don't know. Anyone who knows fishing
goes over my head.
I've got no idea. But he was on about like the 2 jigs that he uses or something, and he'd made a YouTube video. He was like, I don't know what title it should be, and I was like, well, why not? I can't remember what title he had, but it was something like my review of these 2 jigs or something. And I was like, but who's going to search for that? He was like, I don't know. I'm like, well, would you search for it? I was like, probably not. I'm like, well, there's your answer then.
Yeah.
I was like, why not make it like 5 things I've learned from using these 2 jigs, or these 2 jigs did change this, or something like that. I said, it's very cliche, but that makes it a lot more broader. Yeah. But can drag more people in. I said, make them, for the thumbnail, make the 2 jigs like much larger. Because he showed me the thumbnail, and they were like tiny in the corner. I was like, I didn't even notice them. He showed me, pointed them out. I was like, oh my god, they're there.
Zoom in a bit. Yeah, that's the thing. Because so many people are going to see that.
The thumbnail's really tiny. Like, no one's going to see it.
And so many people are going to see that thumbnail just on their phone screen. So
100%.
I'm trying to work on my thumbnails, and what I've been doing is I only do them in like Canva, and I'll just zoom out to like 10%. And if it doesn't like catch my eye, and I'm just like, okay, we'll add some more color, we'll make it brighter, we'll make something more eye popping.
The way I see it with YouTube is whatever works for me may not work for you. However, there are certain things like thumbnails and titles which can work for most niches. How to make a video, or like people think you have to have the most expensive camera to make a YouTube channel.
False.
You don't. The reason I have an expensive camera is because I use it as a tool for my everyday job.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I own a very expensive camera. However, there's also the other side of it is that I make videos about expensive cameras. I make videos about how to do some advanced video work and photography and stuff. If I was just filming it on a mobile phone, people may question the
authenticity of it, I think.
Like how genuine it could actually be. So I don't know. There's swings and roundabouts to it, but for anyone who wants to make a YouTube video, just make a YouTube video. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because the chances are it could work really, really well. There's other chances it may not.
Yeah. How have you found YouTube Shorts? I really need to think of like a better strategy to do mine, because at the moment I spend about 2 or 3 hours one day a week just batch shooting reels, whether it's talking heads, whether it's just lip syncing to a funny sound, and then whilst I'm on shoots I'll make a BTS thing, just leave a camera running in the corner and just do like voiceover or something. But lots of people have been like, oh, you should make your shorts from your long form, and I'm like, I need to work on my long form. Okay. But yeah, how have you found YouTube Shorts and like reels, TikToks and all that?
I'm a little bit in two minds with shorts and just short form content. Okay, coming from a YouTube perspective, I've done TikTok. I don't like TikTok.
Not a fan.
But that's purely for myself. Like I think it's great. It's very addictive. It's great. But I don't have the time to be able to do TikTok and YouTube Shorts and something else. I know people say just reuse it, but I don't think it works 100% the same way.
Yeah, definitely. I found I've done a few tests where I've posted the same video at the same time on those 3 different platforms, and it's so interesting to see how which one performs. Like on TikTok it might bang, YouTube Shorts it might do okay, but then Instagram it'll flop. It's so bizarre what works for each platform. So
I'm going to dive into my analytics very briefly, and I'll tell you my theory. So I don't gatekeep anything, as you can probably see.
That's a good thing. Like so many photographers and people in this niche do gatekeep.
Yeah,
and that sucks.
Gatekeep. So in March I posted 8 shorts. I used to batch shorts together. I'd come up here, maybe film like 10 shorts in a day, edit them the next day, post them. And I used to post them in between my long form content. So to give you an idea, February, 50,000 views I got on the channel in February. Just long form content. Okay. However, in March I got 85,000.
Jeez.
Okay. April, I didn't post any shorts, so I did 1 month. However, you obviously still get some views from shorts, because some shorts do really well and they carry on getting views. Like
I've noticed that. Sometimes they'll spike and then plateau, then spike again, but then sometimes they will just continue to just on that upward trend. I've got about 3 or 4 shorts, YouTube Shorts at the moment, that are constantly in my top 10 videos and are just constantly just churning views. It's like getting a few thousand a day, but then some will just flat and plateau.
So March did really well, 85,000. Remember, 50,000 for February, 85,000. April, 62,000.
Jeez.
So obviously the views dropped back down. However, when you look at the subscribers, okay, so it did well for views, and this is where my thing's not going to work. My internet's gone down. There we go. May. So in February, I got 400 subscribers. In March, I got 450 subscribers. And in April, I got 450 subscribers. pretty much like rounded
Yeah.
around that figure. So subscribers didn't grow my channel at all in terms of subscribers. However, it did grow in terms of views.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? The way I see it is there's two sides to the coin. Okay, when you think of it from a financial perspective, so I make money from obviously ad revenue now, and my actual ad revenue for April was no different because I only get paid around 4 pence
Yeah,
for every 1,000 views on shorts.
Yeah, same. I think that's they've sort of hidden the CPM now a little bit. I've noticed.
Yeah.
You have to go into your actual video because it's now all different. But yeah, I'm on about 3 to 4 pence per YouTube short. So in like by a few weeks or by a month, I've probably made about 20 pence, 25 pence from the month of shorts that I've made. Some of them, even though they'll get like 1,500 views, which is not a lot. I'm definitely in the small creator category, but I'll get let's find one that's got 1,600 views and I've made 7 pence and it's plateaued, but it's still in my top 10 YouTube videos. Like 9 out of my top 10 uploads is shorts, and I've got one long form video that is just continuing to do well, which is so strange.
Yeah. However, on the flip side to it, so in fact, I'll just carry on a little bit further with this. So in terms of revenue, you don't gain anything from it. So therefore, you're doing the extra work and not gaining much from it from a financial perspective. However, it did bring more viewers to the channel.
Yeah.
Are there benefits to that? Maybe. Are there not? I don't know. I've got no idea. Because the thing is, if you go on views, how many of them viewers then want to watch your long form content? Do they subscribe to you, if they do subscribe to you, because of the long form content? Or do they subscribe to you for the short form content and only short form content?
That's where that debate comes in, where YouTube experts are like saying, start a second channel for shorts and just do a main channel for long form. But I'm already monetized on one channel. I don't really want to go into the effort of growing another channel.
No, neither do I. And I went on to, I watched a video, I can't remember who it was. It might be, I want to say it was Sean Cannell.
Oh, Think Media, yeah.
I think it was him.
Yeah.
One of my friends, Sam Holland, sent it me.
Love Sam.
Yeah, so Sam sent me a link the other day, and I was watching it, and it pretty much like they did some like almost A/B tests.
Yeah.
About shorts, and I was like, I don't know. Like for me, I want to do shorts. I enjoy the shorts, but I also think it's just taking up more time. What I could be doing something else.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to TikTok is short form content. I think if you're going to go down the TikTok thing, you don't even need an expensive camera. If I've made shorts, I've made TikToks on my E7S III. However, I've contemplated going and doing behind the scenes things and just doing things on my phone, and I'm not really bothered about TikTok.
Yeah, no.
But I don't know, like the way I see it is, if you want to do shorts, do shorts. It may work for you. And it may get you 100,000 subscribers in a week or a month or a year. However, it may not. There's no right or wrong. YouTube is just one of the things. However, if there's a lot of people who think they're gonna get onto the ad revenue thing and make millions of pounds, especially if they do shorts, and I'm like, nah, that's we have to be realistic. If you're in this for the money, YouTube's not the way to go.
You're doing it for the wrong reasons. You can't keep the lights on with shorts with like by any stretch of the imagination for the foreseeable future.
I want to say the most I've ever made from YouTube shorts in a month is about 70 pence.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a look. I'm gonna look at my ad revenue now for let's go 2023 shorts. Wow, that's bad. So shorts, I've had a total of 269,000 views, and I've made a grand total of £9.41 for that. That's for 2023.
Okay,
just from shorts.
I don't know how many views I've had. I couldn't tell you, but I've made £2 this year.
Damn, the money's not there yet. It's better than TikTok's creator fund revenue, because theirs is just literally like a fund just like a pool of money, and it's just split between everyone on the platform. But then YouTube's is like an actual ad revenue split. But yeah, I'm looking at my YouTube income from this is like a little deep dive on YouTube. I love it. No, there's not really much change at all in income from shorts, but like you said, views are up for me significantly because I've been posting them between my long form videos. So I'll post like a video once a week, but then I'll post like a short every day or every other day.
The question is, are you wanting to create YouTube Shorts to be able to make to build a community? If so, Shorts are possibly the way to go.
Definitely.
If that's what you wanted to do, if you're just wanting to make videos and share something, if you're a bit of a comedian or something like that or whatever, do it. There's nothing wrong with doing YouTube Shorts.
Definitely.
I think it's a great platform.
Yeah.
However, you're not going to make money off it.
No.
Not directly off YouTube Shorts. And this is the thing. This is where YouTube just opens up entirely. I'd say out of my YouTube income, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze.
Go for it.
No, I'm not.
It'll come back. It'll come back.
It will.
Hay
No,
fever. Like.
YouTube Shorts, just YouTube in general. People think you can make a lot of money off YouTube, and you can.
To a degree.
I'd say maybe 90% of my YouTube income doesn't come from YouTube directly. It comes from my website. It comes from affiliate stuff. It comes from brand deals and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets super interesting. So will YouTube Shorts allow you to do that? Yes, maybe not. I don't know. With YouTube Shorts, only, so you rarely get them videos which just go forever. I've got a few, like you said, you've got some.
Yeah, I've only got about 4.
They go for a few days. Then I've probably got 4 as well. But then they spike, maybe go for a few more days. They spike again,
and then they just plateau.
It. Will they do something different in a year's time? I don't know. However, I've had long form content which has sat there like 100 views, 200 views from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's on like 15, 20, 25,000 views because all of a sudden one day something happened. And what that is, I don't know. I've got no idea.
I'd love YouTube to improve the analytics just a little bit more to figure out where that traffic's coming from, like Instagram Reels as well.
Yeah.
Like I've got one reel at the moment that is just, I posted like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It did okay for the first day's push.
Yeah.
But now it's just sort of getting a couple 100 likes every day, but there's no real way of showing where that's coming from. They're very broad and with saying like, oh, it's coming from the short, like the Instagram Reels feed, or it's coming from the Shorts feed, but it's got to be something more. I don't believe, like with YouTube Shorts, I don't believe it's just coming from the Shorts feed. It's got to be embedded somewhere in some, like on a Reddit thread, or it's been embedded on a website somewhere that's getting a lot of traffic. It would be interesting to know.
Because of that, then I don't know, like when it comes to like brand deals, obviously brands offer you, or you can negotiate a price depending on roughly what your exposure is, what your audience is, or whatever. The thing is like you can do a brand deal and know that video is going to be there forever. It could do really well later on down the line. So you and the brand can discuss that. Yeah. However, with Shorts, I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand it fully. So therefore, because of that, I feel like, yes, you can make money elsewhere. You could do ads, you could do brand deals and stuff within Shorts. It's just, I would love for someone to tell me, because I can't really comment on it because I don't have enough knowledge.
There's no way to measure it because it fluctuates so much. Like I couldn't tell you what I'd think if I post a short. Like right now, I couldn't tell you how well it'll do, because sometimes it'll get like 30,000 views, sometimes it'll just get 1,500 views. Like, it's so strange.
It's hard. YouTube in general is just a minefield. I'm
really
trying to
is.
understand it more as time goes on. I say in the last year, I've really started to understand my channel a lot better. I still get videos where they do terrible.
Yeah.
And I just sit in bed at night thinking, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah. Same.
Maybe I should go back to McDonald's.
No, don't do that. Live that creative life.
But YouTube's hard. YouTube is a job. YouTube is a full-time job, and you have to be fully committed to making that content. You have to be good at the SEO. You have to be good at making clicky titles, like all the. It's kind of like you are your own company.
Yeah.
In yourself, you're your own marketing team. You need to.
You're the CEO.
Script writing. You know, you need to be good at doing all the admin work and the emails and everything else. And I just think, yeah, if you want to go do YouTube, please do it. YouTube is the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. I love it.
But you have to fully immerse yourself into it.
Yeah, I've met so many friends from YouTube. Like me and Sam Holland, we live 4 miles from each other.
Nice.
We see each other every week or so. We hang out and whatever. I met Sam through YouTube.
Same with me and Ben. Ben is currently very jealous. He's on set with a red Komodo right now. But we met through YouTube. I watched for some reason one of his vlogs. He was like daily vlogging. One of his vlogs appeared on my YouTube recommended, and I was like, hold up, that's like literally the town next door to me. So I commented, he commented back, and then we just started vlogging together. Yeah, like you can meet so many great people through YouTube.
I talked to like Teppo.
Hapoya.
Yeah,
his shorts are great.
Yeah, like Teppo is a guy like I messaged him on Instagram like a year and a half ago, and he messaged back and we kept in touch or whatever. And then over the last few months, like we've spoke quite a fair bit.
He seems like the nicest guy.
Yeah, and he's like he messages me for some insight in certain things, and I message him and ask him for advice and whatever. And you know, like that kind of friendship I would never have had. Like someone from another country, I never knew anyone from another country until I got onto YouTube.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cool. I've met so many people, and yeah, the internet's a strange place.
It is.
I love it. I'm very grateful for it. But it is hard work.
It really is.
It's a full-time commitment.
Definitely. Bro, as we wrap up, what have you got coming up in the pipeline? Where can people find you? Online, not in a physical sense.
No, don't find mate. I don't even know where I'm going to be in a physical sense. YouTube. I'm always on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube. Just search for Danny Bligh or whatever. Or the Sony guy. If you look for anything to do with Sony, I'll probably come up somewhere.
Good man.
And then just find me on Instagram if you want. Reach out, say hello. Always up for a good chat with anyone. But other than that, I'm probably going to have my head in my laptop editing.
Yep, that's me today.
Forever. But it's good fun.
It is.
So yeah.
Danny, thank you so much for coming on, man.
No,
it's been
mate,
great
great
chatting with
really
you.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure and a privilege. People, thank you very much for listening and watching. If you're on Spotify, please do give us a follow. That'll be absolutely fantastic. Make sure you go over to Danny's channel, go hit subscribe, turn the notification bell, and binge watch a few videos, whether it's YouTube Shorts or long form. Just put a shift in. Do your job. Watch some content, and we'll see you next week.